Okay, ready to dive into something new?
Always.
We're checking out this radio show, Golden Harmony of Happiness.
Heard of it.
Brand new. Every Saturday morning, National Education Radio.
Nice.
And get this, the hosts are Professor John Chiang and Jitang Su.
Both in special ed.
Yep, which might seem a bit,
Not the typical aging show.
exact.
That's what caught my eye, too. Bringing that special ed lens to how Taiwan's aging super fast.
Not sugarcoating it either, from what I've heard.
Oh, definitely optimistic. Like, how to make aging good, not just something to dread.
Golden Harmony, right? So, structure-wise, you said this show's tight.
Oh, yeah. Think 3 parts. Prelude, interlude, postlude.
Fancy. Break it down for me.
Prelude's like setting the scene, literary readings, but also interviews with regular folks.
Sharing their aging experiences.
So it's grounded, not just theories.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Then the interlude.
That's where the experts come in, giving advice based on whatever the prelude brought up.
So it's like problem and solution.
Exactly. Practical stuff. And then postlude ties it all together.
Helps you actually use what you learned.
Exactly. So you're not just like overwhelmed by info.
Clever. Okay, so Taiwan's aging population, big topic, right? They get into that.
Oh, yeah. Episode 1, they're laying it out. Taiwan's officially super aged as of 2025.
Super aged, meaning?
Over 20% are 65 or older. 1 in 5 people you see on the street.
Wow, yeah.
And it's not just us. Over 40 countries are there already. Japan, Germany, the whole bit.
Global trend. So they talk about what this means, right? Like, are we ready for this many older folks?
Oh, yeah. Big questions about how society handles it, the challenges, but also, like, are there opportunities here?
It's a huge shift. How do they even start tackling that?
Well, Professor Chiang, he tells this story, realizes he needs reading glasses to see his dinner.
Been there. Makes you realize.
It sneaks up on you aging. Like, one day you're fine, the next.
Need bigger font on the menu. So their point is, got to be proactive.
Yeah. Big theme of the show. Proactive, healthy aging. Like putting money in the bank, but it's your health.
Love that analogy. Invest now, benefit later.
Exactly. And it's not just physical. It's mental, social, the whole package.
Aging is a whole life thing, not just your body falling apart.
Right. Golden harmony of happiness. It's about all those pieces. And the topics they're covering, wow, it's a lot.
Like what? Give me the highlights.
Physical challenges, like people who actually use wheelchairs, talking about accessibility.
Not some expert who's never had to deal with it.
Right. Then mental well-being, dementia, anxiety, depression in older folks. But not just doom and gloom.
It's like, okay, these things happen, but now what?
Exactly. Coping mechanisms, strategies, that kind of thing.
Important. And then the social side.
Oh, huge. How to stay connected as you get older, how to deal with family stuff, caregiving.
Which gets tricky when everyone's getting older.
No kidding. Okay, so we've got the structure, why it matters. But why should someone actually listen to this show? What makes it different? It's real people, real advice. Not just talking ATU, but giving you tools to, like, take charge of getting older.
Not letting it just happen to you.
Exactly. And that's refreshing, right? Our society's obsessed with youth, so to see aging as something you can, like, influence.
Instead of just growing old, it's growing better.
Yes. Love that.
They even talk about tech, right? How that can help older folks.
Oh, yeah. A whole segment on that, like telehealth, so you don't got to schlep to the doctors.
Smart homes for safety, maybe even social media to stay connected.
It's about recognizing older folks are just as diverse as anyone else.
Different needs, different tech skills.
But technology can help people stay independent. That's huge.
So if you're ready to rethink what aging means, get some solid advice, maybe even try something new. Golden Harmony of Happiness.
Saturdays, National Education Radio. Good way to kick off the weekend.
A show about aging with, grace and resilience, but also joy.
And who knows, maybe you'll learn something to share with your own family.
Exactly. Let's make aging something we talk about, not just whisper about.
Golden Harmony of Happiness. Good place to start that conversation.
Agreed.
And speaking of rethinking stuff, Professor Chiang, he points out how even the words we use about aging can be a problem.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Think about it. People hate being called grandma, grandpa, right? But Mr., Miss, that's fine.
Yeah, we've made those grandparent words mean old in a bad way.
Exactly. And Golden Harmony, they're pushing back on that. It's about respecting older folks, what they bring to the table.
Not just empowering individuals, but like changing how society sees aging altogether.
Right, shifting the story. Not growing old, but growing better.
I like that a lot. Now, you mentioned they're big on learning from different experiences. Something about families dealing with aging loved ones and The autism community.
Yeah, this is fascinating. They say those families, they face similar challenges sometimes, especially with the behavior changes.
Really? How so?
As we get older, we can get set in our ways, resist change, gotta have our routines. Families get frustrated, right?
Stubborn old folks. We've all met them.
But think about it. That kind of behavior, parents of autistic kids, they deal with that too.
Sensory sensitivities, needing predictability.
Exactly. So those parents, they've developed a whole toolbox of strategies. And Golden Harmony is saying, hey, maybe those can help families dealing with aging loved ones too.
Borrowing ideas, kind of.
Yeah. It's about understanding why someone's acting that way, finding ways to work with it, compassion, not just judgment.
Makes sense. They're also bringing those parents onto the show, right? Sharing their perspective.
Yep. Lots of different voices on this show. Oh, and another thing they talk about is dual old households.
Old.
More and more common here in Taiwan. It's when, an older couple needs care, but their kids are also pretty old.
Oh, wow. So it's like elder care squared.
Exactly. Huge strain on families, everyone's stretched thin. And Golden Harmony, they're real about that.
Saying it's okay to get help.
Big time. They talk about how in Taiwan there's this expectation you got to care for your own family no matter what.
Which can be good, but also
Burnout city. So they're saying ask for help, find good home care, know what government resources are out there.
practical advice alongside the emotional stuff.
Right. And being honest with your family, who can do what are our limits. Those talks are tough, but important.
Before everyone's too stressed to even talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the tough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also all about happiness, right? What are their actual tips?
Ooh, tons. Food, activities, using tech the right way. They even talk about how to, measure happiness.
Wait, is that even possible?
Not with a ruler, but there are ways to figure out, okay, how am I doing in the happiness department?
Interesting. Like a checkup, but for your mood.
And then they give you tools to improve it. It's not a one-time thing. It's about building those habits that keep you feeling good.
Not just surviving, but thriving, even as you get older. I like that.
Professor Chiang, he actually compares aging to surfing. Yeah. Learning to ride the waves, finding your balance. There'll be ups and downs, but you can still enjoy the ride.
That's kind of beautiful, actually. Okay, another thing they're big on is the wisdom of, the really old folks. What are those folks saying?
One thing that comes up a lot is stay active. Doesn't got to be hardcore, but keep moving. Keep your mind engaged.
So gardening, hiking, even just playing games.
Anything that keeps you going, mentally and physically. And they actually have guests who, demonstrate stuff, share their stories.
Showing you what's possible, even when you're 80 or whatever.
Exactly. It's about living a full life, not just waiting for it to end.
It's not just about the activities, though, is it? It's the attitude towards aging that this show's pushing.
Totally. Golden Harmony, they're saying. Don't think of it as slowing down, but opening up new stuff. Maybe that W is the time for that thing you always wanted to do.
And they've got guests who actually did that, right? Took the plunge later in life.
Oh, yeah. People starting businesses in their 70s, traveling the world, writing books. Stuff they put off when they were younger.
Proves it's not too late, even when you think it is. Okay, so we talked about staying connected, but they also deal with loneliness, right? Which can be a big problem for older folks.
Big time. And they don't shy away from it. Loneliness is serious. Affects your health, even how long you live.
It's not just oh, I'm a little sad. It's actually bad for you.
Right. And they talk about why it happens. Losing friends, not getting out as much.
Society not really valuing older folks, that whole thing.
Yep. But then they offer solutions. Joining groups, volunteering, even reconnecting with old friends, using tech to stay in touch.
We talked about tech before, but remind me how that helps with loneliness.
If you're comfortable online, there's so much out there. Social media, support groups.
Finding your people, even if you can't physically be with them.
Exactly. They'll talk specifics on that. Plus, staying safe online, which can be tricky for some folks.
Making sure tech, help PS, not, creates more problems. Okay, another big thing they get into is, what's your purpose once you're older?
Yeah, that's huge. Golden Harmony, they're saying everyone has something to give, no matter what.
Volunteering, creative stuff, mentoring, or just being a good grandparent, friend, whatever.
It's about shifting your mindset, not just taking from the world, but giving back. And that makes you feel good, too. Right?
Finding your place, your contribution, makes sense. Now, the elephant in the room with aging, health stuff, they sugarcoat that.
Nope. They're honest. It's going to happen. You might get aches, pains, maybe worse, but it's not the end.
It's about what can you still do? How do you make the best of it?
Exactly. They talk about working with your doctor, lifestyle changes.
And they have actual medical experts on the show too, right?
Yep, giving advice. Plus, they emphasize prevention, exercise, even if it's just a little bit, good food.
Never too late to start. What about mental health? We touched on that earlier, but
Huge part of aging well. They talk stress management, dealing with loss, even keeping your brain sharp.
because if your mind goes, everything else is harder, right?
Absolutely. And they've got practical stuff, meditation, therapy, even just laughing with friends. It all helps.
So this show, it's really got it all, doesn't it? Money stuff, caregiving, staying active, finding your purpose.
Golden harmony of happiness. It's a whole toolkit for aging well.
And it's not just one right way to do it either. They show how different people find their own harmony.
That's the beauty of it. So if you're ready to rethink what aging can be, get inspired, find some good advice, check it out. Saturdays, National Education Radio.
Golden Harmony of Happiness. A show about making the most of this stage of life, all the ups and the downs. And you know what? Here's a thought. The show's great for individual tips, but let's not forget, a lot of how we age depends on what our society's like. Good healthcare, affordable places to live, communities that are designed for all ages. That makes a huge difference. Something to think about not just for the show's creators, but for all of us.